The Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS International, is Nigeria's ubiquitous flagship first-choice general interest magazine program. It connects you with events, interviews, and documentaries from all parts of the world. The unique selling point of the Bisi Olatilo Show is the inimitable manner the visuals blend with the well-couched language and storyline. No matter what the program is and wherever under the globe it is happening, with the Bisi Olatilo Show's unbeatable reach and mileage via the major TV networks, your event becomes an instant hit globally. The Bisi Olatilo Show International, it's Nigeria's ubiquitous flagship first-choice general interest magazine program. Moji Makanjuola, who retired from the services of the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) after a meritorious service, during which she straddled with exceptional distinction and effortless dexterity her multitasking chores as a reporter, producer, and newscaster, which put her in the clegg-light and glamour of the TV for close to 3 decades, hardly needs any introduction, at least to millions of Nigerians both at home and in the diaspora, who watch programs of the Nigerian Television Authority. However, Moji Makanjuola must have struck the chord that has given her very close links with the powers that be through her role as compere of many high-profile events that take place in the federal capital city Abuja, mostly related with women. Without any doubt at all, this is where Moji Makanjuola must have caught the fancy and admiration of Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, with whom she enjoys a robust relationship. I do not know if the federal government has plans to honor Moji Makanjuola, who is without doubt one of the few well-grounded Nigerian female broadcasters still standing, with a national honor which she richly merits, having served her fatherland selflessly over the years. However, with the high-caliber attendance of dignitaries, especially from the different spheres of our economic, social, and political life, that graced the wedding of her daughter recently, at the head of which was Nigeria's First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan, with President Goodluck Jonathan represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, that, in my opinion, also amounts to a well-deserved national honor and great payback for the invaluable services Moji Makanjuola has rendered to her fatherland, most times without counting the costs. Those of us who belong to the same trade with Moji Makanjuola are indeed very proud of her and consider the honor a collective honor to all of us, and this will certainly encourage us to even do more for our fatherland. However, in all of this, one man who deserves commendation and huge praise is Engineer Makanjuola, Moji's husband, who gave her unfettered support to express herself and fly as high as her wings could carry her. The first leg of the marriage of Moji Makanjuola's daughter, Adetutu, began with the traditional engagement ceremony. The mistresses of ceremonies set the tone for the event as they called the gathering to order, with the groom's family dancing towards the bride's family for the usual familiarization process between both families, and this paves the way for the entry of the groom and his friends. The groom, Adebola Samuel, who studied business administration at the Kogi State Polytechnic, works with Dantata and Dantata Construction Company. He was led in by his friends amidst singing and dancing. He quickly met his parents-in-laws and his parents for blessing as tradition demands.
If you know no shame, and when I want to sing,
The bride, Olatilo Makanjuola, who holds a master's degree in marital law from the Cardiff University in Wales, United Kingdom, now running her own fashion house called G29 Nigeria Limited, was ushered in by a retinue of her friends amidst traditional drumming and dancing. She also meets her parents-in-law and her own parents for prayers. Now time for the bride to choose her choice from the dowry items. She goes for the Holy Bible. Afterwards, she and her husband exchange rings and cut their wedding cake. This was supervised by the wife of former Vice President Mrs. Titi Atiku Abubakar.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.
It was a dancing spree all the way to the end of the engagement ceremony. Equa Church in Wuse 2, Abuja, in the nation's federal capital, hosted the church service for the Olatilo Adebola Samuel wedding, which had in attendance dignitaries like Senator Pius Ayim Pius, former ministers retired General David Jembeon, Eitayo Lambo, Modukwe Adelaja, and other friends and members of both families. The church service commenced with the arrival of the bride, Olatilo, and her father, Engineer Makanjuola, into the church. The church service featured a lot of soulful singing by the choir and the congregation. The joining together of the bride and groom and exchange of marital vows was administered by the clergyman who later prayed for them.
Adebola, do you give this ring to Olatilo as a pledge that you keep these vows? Yes, sir. You do? Yes, sir. Okay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Do you, Adebola, accept this ring from Olatilo? Yes, sir. As a pledge. Don't rush, we are going to pray. Father in heaven, the blessings that you have already prepared for them, the blessing of material things, the blessing of the womb, the blessing of joy and happiness, the blessing of good health. Father, make them to come to pass in Jesus' name. Amen.
In his sermon, he advised them to exhibit true love which conquers all to each other. He advised them to avoid the third party and parental influence, which had led to the collapse of many marriages in the past.
From the Christian perspective, there are two types of marriages or homes. The first home is the one that is directed and controlled by the old self, under the authority and the strict supervision of Satan. The second home is directed and controlled by the new self, under the authority and the strict supervision of Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit.
The parents on both sides led the couple and other close family members as they signed the marriage register with the officiating minister in attendance. Thanksgiving session featured hearty dancing and singing before the church service wound up. BMO Event Center in the Mechama area of Abuja was venue for the reception. As stated in the preamble of this story, Moji Makanjuola and her husband, Engineer Makanjuola, and by extension their in-laws, were honored with the esteemed presence of those that call the shots at the very apex in the different spheres of Nigeria's life, with whom Moji had had interactions over the decades. They included members of the National Assembly, ministers, governors, top-class public functionaries, as well as past and present public office holders. There are also leading figures in the private sector. Of course, this was ably complemented by the First Lady, Dame Patience Jonathan's very rich entourage, which had wives of service chiefs and other women leaders. The joy of the parents of the couple, Engineer and Mrs. Makanjuola, and their in-laws, the Samuels, was demonstrated in every way as they energetically danced into the venue in company of their friends and family members. The couple, Adetutu and Adebola Samuel, who looked their brightest, were over the moon with joy, and they couldn't just be stopped from displaying this publicly through their inimitable special dance steps as they enter the arena in company of their groomsmen and bridesmaids.
I'm waiting to catch a glimpse of the bride and groom, Your Excellency. May I crave an indulgence to please at this point in time dance as we receive in our midst the latest couple.
The reception was chaired by Professor Oyitayo Lambo, Nigeria's former health minister, with whom the mother of the bride, Moji Makanjuola, worked very closely when she was NTA health correspondent. It was another round of admonition for the couple to complement the advice the officiating minister gave them in the church. Professor Lambo urged them to be worthy examples to their peers and others in the marriage institution, either planning to go into it or already in it. He wished them a successful married life.
Communicate openly and frankly that we will not allow certain bad things to happen. So the first thing is communication. The second one is commitment. The two of you must be 100% committed to this marriage. It's not just one person. There is nothing like 80% commitment. It has to be total. And the third one, which is my sixth factor, is compromise. You are coming from two different backgrounds, so you may not see things in the same way. Okay, so one should not try to have his or her way all the time. You must try and reach a compromise.
S U S Jesus.
To the latest girls in town. Cheers.
All about marriage is endurance, and where my name, patience. then this guy will be doing it. At the same time, remember, my son, where there is love, there is no error. It's when love ceases, the error starts appearing. But if they are old, it will never occur.
The bride threw her bouquet of flowers. Here's congratulating our own Moji Makanjuola, Nigeria's broadcasting icon, her husband, Engineer Makanjuola, and their in-laws, as well as the couple, for the success of the marriage. May God bless it with the fruits of the womb. Amen.
As long as Christ remains the center of their home, certainly they will find peace and prosperity. Amen.
But what I'm happy about is she has been given out to her friend. She has been given out to a man whose heart is on the Lord, who is on fire for Christ. A man, a hardworking young man who respects and holds culture and tradition in very high esteem. So for me, I have not lost my daughter. Instead, I have gained another child. Okay. I have only one son, so I have two sons now.
Well, mixed grill. I feel happy. I feel a little bit sad. Happy in the sense that, well, we have been praying that she gets married. Sad a little bit because she's leaving us. All her life she has been with us, so mixed grill.
I wish her long life and I wish her the wisdom of God.
No expectations really. I just pray for God to give us the best and teach us how to go about everything. Thank you.